Los Angeles, the city of second chances. A $1 trillion economy built on the audacity of the New West and the shimmering artifice of the silver screen. For 100 years, it was the ultimate destination for the world's most ambitious. But while the world was staring at the stars on the sidewalk, the ground beneath them was liquefying. In 2026, the Gilded Truth is finally hitting the sunlight. The city that exported the American dream has become its most expensive, most visible nightmare. This isn't just a housing crisis, it's a systemic collapse. A ruin wrapped in velvet. To understand the fall, you have to understand how LA was designed to fail. In the 1920s, Los Angeles didn't build a city. They built a sprawling collection of suburbs connected by a concrete noose called the freeway. They pioneered a specific kind of urban warfare, known as single-family zoning. By making it illegal to build density apartments, duplexes, or affordable flats, in 75% of the city, the elite created an artificial scarcity. They turned home ownership from a middle-class milestone into a speculative weapon. By 2024, the median home price in LA hit nearly $1 million. The math was simple. The math was cruel. If you weren't already a millionaire, you were a guest. And eventually, the guests were asked to leave. The city's heartbeat, the teachers, the nurses, the artists were priced out of their own lives, replaced by an international class of absentee investors who treated the city's skyline like a Swiss bank account. The fuse for the current collapse was lit in 1978 with Proposition 13. It was sold as a populist victory, a way to save grandmothers from losing their homes to rising property taxes. But the reality, it froze property taxes at 1970s levels, creating a landlord aristocracy. While the city's infrastructure crumbled and the schools decayed, the landed gentry sat on billions in untaxed equity. Because property taxes barely increase, regardless of value, people stopped moving. The housing market froze. This created a massive deficit in the city's budget, forcing LA to rely on gimmick taxes and high sales taxes that hit the poor the hardest. The ladder of social mobility wasn't just pulled up, it was set on fire. In the City of Angels, the Gilded Truth is that the past is currently strangling the future. Coming up next, the Skid Row Syndrome. We expose the $1 billion homeless industrial complex and the exodus of the tax base. For over a century, Los Angeles had a secret. A sinkhole where the city's failures were swept under the rug. They called it Skid Row. In 1976, the city adopted a formal policy of containment. Instead of solving poverty, the city concentrated all social services, shelters, and missions into a single 50-block radius. The logic was cold. Keep the unseen away from the tourists and the movie premieres. But by 2020, the container burst. The failures of the housing market and the opioid epidemic created a flood of humanity that the 50 blocks could no longer hold. Today, homelessness has metastasized. It is no longer a downtown problem. It is in the parks of Santa Monica, the underpasses of the 405, and the beaches of Venice. But the Gilded Truth is even darker. In Los Angeles, homelessness isn't a tragedy to be solved, it's an industry to be managed. In 2016 and 2017, the people of Los Angeles did something extraordinary. They voted for Proposition HHH and Measure H, authorizing over $1.2 billion to build permanent supportive housing. Voters were promised 10,000 units. They got a lesson in bureaucratic theft. By 2024, the cost to build a single unit of affordable housing in LA hit a staggering $800,000. That's more than the cost of a luxury condo in most American cities. Where did the money go? It vanished into the homeless industrial complex, a web of non-profits, consultants, and developers who feast on city contracts. Every unit of housing requires dozens of studies, years of community input, and millions in legal fees. While the bureaucracy grows fat, 75,000 people remain on the street. In LA, a problem solved is a budget cut, so the problem is never solved. The wealthy are often the first to notice when the social contract has expired. Between 2020 and 2026, Los Angeles witnessed a wealth flight that has shaken the city's foundations. It wasn't just about the 13.3% state income tax. It was the quality of life tax. When you pay $10 million for a home in the Palisades, you expect a functioning city. But when the sidewalks are impassable, the sirens are constant, and the crime is decriminalized, the elites stop paying. California lost over $24 billion in tax revenue to other states in a single year. The tax-based, the very engine that funds the missions and the roads, is packing its bags. Los Angeles is becoming a city of two extremes: the ultra-rich, who live behind 10-foot walls with private security, and the ultra-poor, who live in the shadows of those walls. The middle class, they're already gone. Coming up next, the bureaucratic abyss. We expose the FBI investigations, the City Hall bribery scandals, and the pay-to-play system that turned the City of Angels into a criminal enterprise. In Los Angeles, the most valuable commodity isn't film scripts or real estate, it's discretion. Because the city's building codes are so Byzantine, and its zoning laws so restrictive, nothing of significance can be built without a discretionary approval from a city council member. This created a fiefdom system. Between 2020 and 2025, the FBI pulled back the curtain on what they called a sprawling criminal enterprise at the heart of the city. Council members like Jose Hizar and Mark Ridley Thomas were found at the center of massive bribery schemes. Developers weren't just building condos, they were buying politicians. We're talking about envelopes of cash in casino bathrooms, private jet trips to Las Vegas, and consulting fees paid to family members. If you wanted to build affordable housing, you faced a decade of red tape. But if you had $100,000 for a re-election campaign, the red tape vanished. The gilded truth is that the housing crisis was profitable for the very people tasked with solving it. The scarcity was the point. While the politicians were counting their kickbacks, the skeleton of the city was turning to dust. Los Angeles' infrastructure was engineered for a 1950s dream of 2 million people. Today, it groans under the weight of 4 million. The Los Angeles Department of Water and Power, LADWP, manages a grid that is, in some places, nearly a century old. In a city that prides itself on being the future, the reality is a series of third-world failures. The city's water mains burst at an average rate of 3 per day. The power grid flickers under the slightest heatwave. Why? Because, for 40 years, the city's wealth was diverted away from boring things like pipes and wires and toward legacy costs. Los Angeles is drowning in pension liabilities. A staggering percentage of every tax dollar doesn't go to fixing your street. It goes to paying for the retirement of the bureaucracy that failed to fix the street in the first place. The Richest Ruin is a city that has mortgaged its future to pay for its past. The dream is being cannibalized by the very people who were supposed to protect it. By 2026, the fall of Los Angeles has entered its most dangerous phase: physical fragmentation. As the LAPD faces a historic staffing crisis, losing officers faster than they can recruit, the city's elite have stopped waiting for the state to protect them. The social contract hasn't just been broken, it's been privatized. In neighborhoods like Brentwood and the Hollywood Hills, safety is now a subscription service. Private security firms, often staffed by former elite military personnel, now outnumber public police in wealthy enclaves. We are witnessing the rise of the Fortress Enclave. These are pockets of extreme wealth, guarded by licensed blade-reading cameras and 24/7 armed patrols. But outside these walls, the public square has effectively died. If you cannot afford the premium for a safe neighborhood, you are on your own. This is the gilded verdict. Los Angeles is no longer a city. It is a collection of gated lifeboats floating in a sea of institutional neglect. While the private gates go up, the public coffers are running dry. In 2026, Los Angeles hit the pension wall. Decades of promising generous retirements to city employees without funding them has finally caught up. Nearly 20% of the city's general fund is now swallowed by pension and healthcare costs for retired workers. This is money that cannot go to paving roads, cleaning parks, or building the housing the city desperately needs. To keep the lights on, the city has been forced to hike utility rates and business taxes to levels that are driving the last of the middle class into the arms of Nevada and Texas. Los Angeles didn't just spend its money, it spent its future. It is a city that is financially solvent on paper, but socially bankrupt in reality. The story of Los Angeles is the story of hubris. It is a warning to every success story in the modern world. It is a reminder that a ruin doesn't always look like the Colosseum or a pile of rubble. Sometimes, a ruin looks like a $20 million mansion surrounded by a 10-foot wall, overlooking a sidewalk where a veteran is sleeping in a cardboard box. The sun still shines on the Pacific. The palm trees still sway. But the dream, that fragile idea that anyone could come here and build a life, has moved elsewhere. Los Angeles didn't fall because of a lack of talent or a lack of wealth. It fell because it chose the gilded mirage over the uncomfortable truth. The city of angels is still there. But the angels, they've already left. This has been the Gilded Truth.